Hi guys, happy Tuesday. We're going to go ahead and go through the 4-word problems that you did in class today, and hopefully you're going to see that you did a great job. This first problem was the hotel hot tub. You're staying at a hotel where there's a hot tub. The clerk forgot to make sure it was heated up. Right now the temperature is 70 degrees. The clerk says it'll get 10% warmer every hour. So what Mrs. Rose did is she put the data into a graphing calculator, and notice that I stopped the domain at 5, okay? And there's a specific reason why I did that. But let's answer the questions first. This is a continuous function because temperature changes gradually over time in very small increments. It didn't just jump from 70 to 77 to 84.7 to 93.17. It gradually changes to 70.0001, 0002, etc., etc. Now, take a good look at the domain and range that I did with the appropriate notation. Notice that I used the bracket for 0 and I stopped it at 5. And actually 5's a little hot. And so the reason is I did it for 5 hours and it went from 70 to 112 and 74 hundredths. The reason why I stopped it at 5 is because a hot tub really shouldn't go over 110 degrees. But let's say I just had a problem and I forgot. The equation is y equals 70 times 1 1/10 raised to the power of x, because the original temperature is 70 degrees and it changes 10% over each hour. And then when will the temperature be at least 103 degrees? Sometime between the 4th and 5th hour, because in the 4th hour it's 102 and 49 hundredths. And then shortly after that, before the 5th hour, it will turn to 103 degrees. Notice that when I did my graph, I did the little jagged mark and started it at 0.70. And notice that this is not a perfect graph. I wish I had done it in the Smart View so that you could see it. But it almost looks linear for this small snapshot of time. Okay, let's take a look at the second problem. In the second problem, we have Weasley Wizard Wheezes. You graduated from Hogwarts and got a job at Weasley Wizard Wheezes with a starting salary of $40,000. You're guaranteed a raise of 5% each year. Guys, I really hope that you notice that Mrs. Rose made a mistake on number 3 when I said, what is the equation? But let's talk about this. At this point, I just have my table listed from 0 to 6, okay? The function is discrete because he receives a raise once a year. He doesn't receive a continual, gradual, growing amount of money. It is done once a year at his annual interview. The domain, I went ahead and stopped mine at 10, from 0 to 10. And then my range was from 40 to 65,156. Also, please notice at this point, my range does not say 40,000. It says 40. And notice that it also says 65 and 156,000. And that's because of the part that says salary in the thousands, okay? The equation, the yearly salary is increased 5%, and that is written as 1 500ths and not 105%. How many years will you have to work at Weasley Wizard Wheezes? How many times can you say that and not twist your tongue? Double. At the 14th salary increase, you'll have $79,197,000. The next year, you'll have $83,157,000. So it's, guys, it's real important to realize that there's never be a specific time that you double your starting salary. At the 14th year, you'll have the $79,000 plus change, and in the 15th year, you will have $83,157. For the third problem, this was the Bigham rumors, where a 10th grader decides to start a rumor, and on the first day of school, she tells 3 students that the rumor, gives them the instructions to repeat the rumor and the instructions to 3 more students. Kind of like you'll tell a friend and they'll tell a friend, and so on and so on and so on. And this is also another case of a discrete, because you cannot tell a partial person, okay? The domain with the appropriate notation, please notice that at this point I put a 0 with a bracket, but then I put an 8 with the parentheses. The range was 1, because of course the first person who starts a rumor, and 6,561. Why is the equation this? Because the rate of people hearing the rumor is 3 per round of rumors. Okay? Also notice that because it's discrete, the fact that it is y equals 3 to the power of x. This is a power function, okay? On day 6, you'll have 729, and on the 8th day, all of the students will have heard or reheard the rumor. Notice that I did not do the graph for this one. We'll go ahead and look at the graph in class tomorrow. And finally, on the 4th problem. The water lilies. This does come from a story from France. They're told about water lilies on a pond. There are 4 leaves on the pond to start. The lily population doubles in size every day, and if left unchecked, the lilies will cover the surface. With about 1 million leaves, all other living things in the water will die. Day after day, the plant seems so small, so it's decided to let it grow until it covers half the pond before cutting it back. And notice I went ahead and did it all the way up to the 18th day. And when you do this, the graphing calculator gives you 1.05 e raised to the power of 6. Guys, remember that e stands for scientific notation, so that would be 1 500 times 10 raised to the power of 6. This is a continuous function because the leaves gradually grow and spread. The domain and range, domain would be 0 with a bracket because it can be equal to 0. And then 16 with the parentheses, meaning we do not want it to be equal to the 16th day. And the range, of course, is 4, and then 524,288 with a parentheses because we do not want to get it that high. Why is the equation written as 4 times 2 raised to the power of x? Well, 4 is your starting population. Remember, a starting population can be anything. In this case, it is leaves. And double means that the rate is 2. If there's 4 leaves on day 1, on what day will the pond be half covered? And how much time will they have to cut it back? Between the 16th and 17th day, the pond will be covered with over 500,000 leaves. Okay, so it's really important to realize that it's really between the 16th and 17th day. The problem is if they do not cut it back immediately on that day, the pond will grow to over 1 million on day 18 and kill all the living things. So really and truly, they have a 24-hour period where they need to be cutting it. The other thing is to realize that even though they are cutting things back, it is continually growing. So that is something that we'll talk about in class. I hope you did really well on this, and I will definitely see you in class tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be going over the interim exam that we did not take from the county. We'll talk a little bit about the midterm we did, and we'll do your portfolios. Please remember, it's very important to bring your first 9-week portfolio to class, as well as your new report cover for your portfolio for the second 9 weeks. Toodles, kids. I hope you're had a great day in class today, and I hope you're looking forward to working with me tomorrow.